former federal prosecutor Joseph Moreno. Okay, so how does this now add, Gloria, to the ammunition that House Democrats are demanding, right? They have ammunition as they demand for witnesses to be called in, and they want the Senate to basically have witnesses they didn't have. Does this help?
Yeah, tremendously. As Manu was pointing out, I think there's a lot of pressure now on Mitch McConnell. And you never know what Mitch McConnell's going to do, how he's going to react to pressure. But you have had Republicans complaining that the Democratic case against Donald Trump was all hearsay, people who didn't have firsthand information. And Bolton was everywhere, heard everything, is the person who can provide firsthand information about what occurred with Ukraine. He is also somebody who has been testified about as having said, I think it was Fiona Hill, who talked about how he was saying, I don't want to get involved in the drug deal, in the Mulvaney and Sunland drug deal. He said Rudy Giuliani is a grenade that's going to blow everybody up. So they want to hear from him, and I don't see how Mitch McConnell can make the case, well, we want a fair trial in the Senate, while denying somebody who has firsthand information the ability to testify when he says he's willing to do it.
What if that does happen, though, Joe? I mean, what are the levers that House Democrats can perhaps pull? What then?
Okay, so House Democrats can still subpoena him now. Mm-hmm. Just because the president has been impeached doesn't mean they can't effectively reopen that proceeding.
He doesn't want to go to the House, right?
Doesn't want to go to the House. Okay. So now the Senate. Let's just say that Bolton does get a subpoena. Let's say either Mitch McConnell concedes or 4 Republicans jump ship and vote with the Democrats. Mm-hmm. Bolton is not saying, though, that he would not respect a court order. And what will most definitely happen is that the White House will challenge that subpoena. So we'll be back where we started. Bolton will say, look, I'm happy to respond to a subpoena if a court tells me to, and we'll be in the same boat we were as if the House Democrats had subpoenaed him in the first place.
And then I think the question is, what if the court says you have to testify? I think Bolton is aware of issues of privilege, et cetera, but as were other people who testified before the House. But what if the court then speeds up the process and says, well, you do need to testify?
That's the ultimate test. It's easy for him to say this now. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder for him to defy a court. So I think that either way, we're going to have to see this play out in the courts, and then we'll find out if Bolton really will show up and we'll hear from him. And he is essential. There's no doubt about that. Any fair proceeding meant we should have heard from him. If not in the House, definitely in the Senate.
Because, as you mentioned, what we know just through what Fiona Hill said, mm-hmm. right? But there's a lot more we want to know. What else, what other questions would Democrats, would really any on the up-and-up investigator want to know from Bolton?
Well, they really would want to know what was the actual story about why this aid got held up. And I might caution here that while the Democrats are eager to hear from Bolton, don't forget who John Bolton is. He is a true conservative. He is a conservative on foreign policy. Clearly, the president and he have no love lost, obviously. But this is a difficult situation for John Bolton, who wants to have a career after this among conservatives. And so how is John Bolton going to handle testifying this way, in a way that perhaps might put the president in a bad light? I mean, it was sort of the "I quit, you're fired" when he left. And,
that's right.
And, and he has lately been praising the president on his moves on Iran.
That's right, because he's very hardline on Iran.
Right.
Gloria, thank you so much. Joe, really appreciate it.